大将、どうも、Jaye と申します。星熊さんに勧められてロドスに来やした。海産物は一通りわかりやす。あとは料理と包丁さばきもまあ悪くないと思うんで、その辺お手伝いできると思いやす。
Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to talk about Jaye, a 4-star unique specialist. First of all, my friend Zephy made a guide about Jaye. If you want a fast and easy guide, then please check his guide out. This guide is more in-depth and slightly more advanced. Jaye, or also known as the Sushiman, is a 4-star specialist that specializes in fast-way deploys. But different from fast-way deploys in general, he drains your DP by 3 each 3 seconds and he will retreat himself when you don't have enough DP. In exchange of this, however, he has very high attack and very fast attack speed. To give you some context, Jaye has attack that is higher than Skadi's base attack when his skill is on. Combining with fast attack speed, he can dish out consistent high damage. As always, let's talk about Jaye's talent first. Jaye's talent, another Remastered, allows him to deal up to 150% attack to infected creatures. By infected creatures, there are slugs, exploding spiders, metal spiders, and even Pompeii. On certain times, Jaye's first skill is definitely a great pair for his talent. Speaking of that, let's start with Jaye's first skill, Shell Splitter. This skill allows Jaye to increase his attack up to 70% while also silence them up to 2 seconds. This skill is definitely a good skill when the operation has a lot of exploding spiders. Not to mention, this skill has great synergy with his talent as this allows Jaye to kill them faster. However, as good as this skill is, you might want to use it that much because of his second skill, and there are better options for silence such as Lapland, Waifu, or Pentakill. But all in all, let's take a look on how this skill performs. Now let's take a look at Jaye's go-to skill, Sashimi Platter. This skill allows Jaye to slash them, kill them, eat them, throw the guns apart. Just kidding. Anyway, this skill allows Jaye to increase his attack up to 60%. Additionally, each attack heals himself or nearby allies by 50% damage dealt to enemies. This skill is definitely his go-to skill, and this can make Jaye a very versatile operator. You can use him as a boss killer, or you can use him as a stationary operator. Of course, if you want to use him as a boss killer, you might need other operators helping you. Anyway, let's take a look at how this skill performs, shall we?
敵に集中しなさい。鮮血が武器を染め、戦場を沸き立たせる。予測通りの戦いでした。完璧です。
I personally find that Jaye is a very powerful operator. You can use him as a duelist, a fast way deploy, or on some cases, you can use him as a healing defender. He got a very fast attack speed, over 1000 attack points, and can be redeployed in a very short amount of time. Not to mention, his skills are permanent, which is very different from other fast way deploys in general. This makes Jaye an extremely versatile operator. However, Jaye has his own limitation as well. Of course, the most notable one is his own trait that he eats your DP by 3 every 3 seconds, and he won't keep on your DP when retreated. When you don't have enough DP, he will be forced to be retreated. This means that it's very hard to keep him on the field if the operation has decreased DP regeneration condition. Now, this is just me, but the way he forced to get retreated is very unnoticeable, especially on white mans. It's just my pet peeve, but again, others might differ. Secondly, his healing is based on damage he dealt to the enemy. If the enemy has high defense, then he will also heal at very low potency. On some operations, enemies have very high defense, and the most notable one is Chapter 7, where high defense enemies are literally everywhere. Because of this, Jaye will have some trouble dealing with these enemies and does not scale well on Chapter 7 unless you are using buffers or debuffers. Using Jaye can be complicated, especially for newbies. With that, let's do some discussion on how to use him.
気をつけなさい。ごきげんよう、ドクター。一緒に紅茶でもいかが？
Like I said, Jaye can be a very complicated operator, and the main reason I say that is because of his trait. Because of this, Jaye can be extremely difficult to use, especially for new players. In this section, I'll tell you my opinion the most effective way to use him. Before I get to the point, you have to remember that you need at least more than 4 DP before deploying Jaye, because even if you have 3 DP, he will still retreat himself. To be safe, you need at least more than 10 DP or deploy vanguards to help the DP recovery. I personally deploy him when all my core operators are deployed, so I don't need to worry about DP recoveries, but of course some cases might differ. Anyway, let's take a look on how to use him effectively in combat. First up is a boss killer, which you can use him just like that without needing any medics to help. If we rewind the spotlight a bit, you can see that Jaye can easily deal with bosses without needing help of any medics. Of course, he cannot deal with Patriot unless you're using buff army. Remember, the only operators that can deal with Patriot alone are Swartz, Ruffins, and Amiya. Secondly, you can use him as stationary operator where in this case, I am using him to defend allies from getting damage from the exploding spiders. Jaye himself does not need to worry about dying because he can easily sustain himself. If you don't really need him, you can just retreat him so he won't eat too much DP. You don't have to worry about his redeployment because he relatively has fast cooldown to be deployed again. Lastly, using buffers or debuffers. This method I'd say is more of a Chapter 7 exclusive. Like I mentioned earlier when I talk about his cons, Jaye at Chapter 7 can be pretty underwhelming on its own. This is where buffers and debuffers can shine. Let's just take Warframe for example. Just a single buff from Warframe and retreat, Jaye can deal extremely high damage to the enemy without needing Warframe's healing change. Another example, if you use Pramanix and deploy her beside Jaye, you don't need to use any medics because Jaye can heal her with very high healing. So yeah, if you want to use Jaye on Chapter 7, I'd suggest you to at least have one buffer or debuffer with you because this is where Jaye has very strong synergy at. On Chapter 7, Jaye alone can be very underwhelming, but if you have buffers with you, Jaye will surely spice up the battle. Overall, I'd say Jaye is a very strong operator, maybe too strong to be a 4-star. Is he worth investing? Yes, he is definitely worth investing. But if you're a new player, then I'd say don't prioritize building him first because his rate can be troublesome most of the time. I highly suggest you to build your core team first because that way, your operations can be way easier and way more consistent. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button because it will help my channel a lot. Be sure to also hit that subscribe button if you don't want to miss any of my new videos. As always, thank you to my supporters. If you want to support me, you can join the Patreon or donate at PayPal or Coffee. The link is in the description down below. Thanks for your support and I'll see you guys on the next video. Stay safe everyone. Peace out.